Canada. First of all, I'd like to tell everyone nobody can guarantee your visa. So when you're applying to come into Canada permanently or temporarily, no one has the right or has the authority to say you're definitely going to get it. But there are tips on what you can do in order to increase your chances in getting a visa. First of all, if you are going to be invited, if you have somebody inviting you, or someone is going to be giving you an invitation letter, there are things that need to be stated on that invitation letter. I need you to know that these are just tips. It's not limited to what I'm going to be discussing today. You have to do your own research. You just know that the tips I'll be giving you today are not limited. You have to explore other options as well. So first of all, your invitation letter has to include an address where you're going to be staying. They have to be proof of address. So your invitee have to attach a driver's license with an address on it or a bill with an address on it, something to actually indicate that that address actually exists. Second of all, there has to be a signature proving that, okay, I am inviting this person, this is me. They have to be proof of relationship. So, for example, if you guys are friends, you have to be able to state how the relationship have started, where how long you guys have known each other, something to establish the relationship. The other thing you have to include in your application or to give you a better chance in getting a temporary resident permit or visa to come to Canada is your tie to your home country. So, for example, if you're coming for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you have to be able to prove that you're going back to your home country. So, things that can be considered as a tie to home countries includes and but not limited to employment letter. So if you've been working for a company or if you're working for a company, so you can get an employment letter stating that you're going to be coming back. The employment letter should include date of when your employment started, how much you're earning, there, how whether you're going to be gone for what amount of period you do intend to stay in Canada for, and that you're actually coming back to the employment after your vacation or after the leave of absence, whatever the case may be. A family member, so for example, if you're living, if you're married, your wife or your spouse can, or your husband can be considered as a family tie to your home country. Your children can be considered as a family tie to your home country. If you have a dependent that solemnly depend on you or cannot survive without you, provided that you can prove the relationship can be considered as a tie to your country or tied to your home country. If you were self-employed, so you have to be able to prove that the business cannot survive without you, basically. So if you're living, so for example, you have a business established in your home country, so you have to be able to show that you have employee that you're paying, or you have to be business have to be registered. You have to show the proof of registration of business. So basically, the business cannot survive without you. That can be used as a tie to home country. The most asked questions people do ask is how much do I need if I am coming to if I want to apply for a visitor visa to Canada. There's no set amount, but what is being required is a proof that you can sustain yourself. So usually, what I do for my clients is I do create a mini statement. So, for example, if you're traveling from Nigeria to Canada, I do go and research a flight ticket. So if the flight ticket is 1,800 Canadian dollars, I do state that in as proof of fund, 1,800. If you have an accommodation that you're staying, so I don't include accommodation, but if you don't have accommodation, I do research hotels and see how much the daily rate is. I do include that for whatever period you're going to be staying in Canada for. Uh, excuse me, then I do include feeding allowances. So for example, if you're coming, I do state that if it's one person, $100 per day for feeding. So for a period of 10 days, I'm budgeting $1,000 for feeding alone. I usually strongly suggest that you have emergency fund in case anything happen, your flight is being delayed, or your flight is being cancelled for one reason or the other, or you have to go to the hospital. One thing, usually I do budget $2,000 per applicant for emergency fund. So having stated that, I do have that up and I do convert it to the local currency. So for example, in Nigeria, so whatever that amount comes to, I convert it to whatever the equivalence will be in naira, and I do state and I do make sure you have that amount of money in your account and more, because you don't want to say, okay, so for example, we are stating that you need $4,000, and you don't want to say you just have the exact $4,000 in your account. So what happens when you come back? So that means you do not have any money on you when you come back. So like I said, it's not a requirement, but it increases your chances of getting a positive feedback from Canada Immigration. So, like I said, this is not limited to, but these are what you should consider before submitting your application. And I strongly recommend that you have letter of explanation. The visa officer going through your application have thousands of applications that they usually go through, and you're looking at the application, they have no clue sometimes. So the letter of explanation give them what to do, or actually can relate your personal experience to whatever application you are submitting to. So for more information, you can always contact us. Send us an email, info@moreimmigration solutions.com, or follow us on Facebook,